When it comes to competitive Pokemon, Europe has emerged as one of the strongest regions in the entire game. This weekend, the European International Championships will take place in London. My name is The Battle Room, and today I'm joined by my good friend Raghav to figure out who will take the crown for potentially the biggest tournament of all time. EUIC is consistently one of the hardest and largest tournaments of the entire year. In the past, only the greatest of players have been able to conquer the European title. This includes legends like Paul Chua, Niels Dunlop, and the GOAT himself, Wolf Glick. The question must be asked, who will be next?
Before we get into the video, if you like this type of content, please give us a like and subscribe. It helps us keep the lights running in the battle room, and we appreciate it a lot.
Number 5, Cary D'Ortona. Cary's a relatively new player in the competitive VGC scene. He had a couple solid finishes when he started off, but he really came into his own at the Louisville Regionals, where he was able to place 7th place out of 753 people. But then he kept that momentum going with multiple day 2s, including getting day 2 at the European Internationals that season. After Europe, he was able to place 3rd at the Portland Regionals, really establishing himself as a very dominant and competitive player in this scene. This year, he did not want to let that momentum slip whatsoever. He day 2'd Las Vegas Regionals, and then he was able to win the Toronto Regionals right after in the return to Regulation F. So Cary is the most recent regional champion in North America, and I'm very excited to see what he's capable of moving into EUIC this season.
As a player, Cary has used pretty unique teams. Nothing that's completely crazy or out of the blue, but it's always something that adapts to the current metagame, trying to stay on top of trends and trying to counter what is most popular. At Toronto Regionals, he went 15-1 with a really saucy team with Roaring Moon, Specs Golden Go, Landorus Eye, Amoonguss, Incineroar, and Urshifu. This is the current format we're playing, and he seems to be the best player in North America. As such, I feel like he has a really good shot at EUIC because he has his pulse on the meta and is just in incredible form. Again, an absolute dominant run in Toronto with 15-1, and I think this format really rewards you if you're able to break through the absolute standard core that we see of Incineroar, Rillaboom, and Raging Bolt, and I think Cary's got the sauce. Number 4, Simone Sanvito. At number 4, we have Sanvi VGC, one of the most decorated players in Pokemon history, someone who has a true passion for the game. In fact, he has a tattoo of Palafin on his body. But more importantly, he is extremely accomplished. He won EUIC in previous years, and most recently won the Gdansk Regionals after coming up short at the World Championships, one win away from top cut. Following up his regional win, he went 9-3 at Stuttgart Regionals, just missing top cut, but then finally got top cut again at Birmingham. I think Sanvi is a player who you should never count out because he is so consistent and has a drive for the game like no other. He always practices with his team. He is not someone who changes it up on the fly, but is someone who is willing to commit and do as well as possible with what he has.
When it comes to team selection, Sanvi uses the most boring and most standard teams he can possibly find. And I don't mean that as an insult in any way. He just loves using the best Pokemon. It's what's defined his career up until this point, and I don't expect that to change going into EUIC this year. And I think in Regulation F, that is incredibly powerful. We haven't covered Sanvi before on the channel because sometimes his consistency allows him to blend in. He'll land those top 32s, those top 64s, but sometimes he's just not winning the tournament. But this time, I feel very different. In Regulation F, I think those strong, consistent, best teams are incredibly potent this time around. We saw at the last 2 tournaments of the format, the standard Raging Bolt balanced team has gotten 2nd and then 1st. So I imagine that standard Raging Bolt balanced team will find success at EUIC, and I would not be surprised at all if Sanvi was the pilot of that team. At this point, he's due for a win, so I expect some fireworks from Sanvi going into EUIC. Number 3, Justin Tang. Justin Tang started off his career in the most insane way possible by winning the first ever regional he attended. Now after that, you could say, hey, maybe it's beginner's luck, maybe he's not so great, and he got a little lucky. But Justin decided to prove the haters wrong. He was able to place top cut once again at the Charlotte Regionals, and he followed that up with another regional win at the Fort Wayne Regionals. After that, Justin became one of the most dominant names in VGC in North America. He has not removed his foot from the gas in the following years, and this year has been probably his best season yet. He started off the season with a 3rd place finish at the Monterrey Regionals in Mexico. He followed it up with a 5th place finish in Pittsburgh, and then a 7th place finish in Las Vegas. That is 3 cuts in a row. Not only cuts, but top 8s. And then he wasn't done there. He followed that up with a 6th place finish at the Latin American Internationals, his first ever international top cut. And you're thinking, like, when is it going to stop? It simply doesn't. He followed that one up with a 4th place finish at the Toronto Regionals. He has just been putting on a clinic this season. You can't not include Justin in a list going into EUIC just because right now he is the best player in North America, and I don't think it's even close.
One of the most interesting part about Justin Tang's success is his team choice. Now, historically, he has had a building partnership with Shiliang Tang, but recently, I think he's gone a little bit on his own. And above all else, I think Justin does prioritize comfort, but he's always looking for something off meta, something to give him an advantage before the game even starts. In the most recent regionals, he has brought something that some might consider to be dated, but because of his comfort and slightly off meta composition, he's been able to take it to great heights, getting back-to-back-to-back top cuts. So for EUIC, I think it really comes down to, will Justin be able to find something that he's comfortable with and something that has that unique wow factor that catches the meta just at the perfect time. Regardless, I think Justin is going to have a phenomenal finish, and winning would mean everything to him. He's only got 1 international top cut, and he's looking to put another trophy on his shelf. Number 2. Marco Hemanta Caladura Silva. Now, Marco has been on every single one of our lists we've had on this channel, and it's simply because this guy is incredible. Since he's aged up into Masters, he has been by far at least one of the top 3 players in the whole game, and his consistency could be a whole other video. We're going to start with NAIC last year. He ends up getting 2nd, losing to his other Italian teammate Fede Campo, but then goes into Worlds and has his worst finish yet. I think we were all a little bit surprised by that, but he knew that moving forward he had to get back on that horse. After Worlds, he gets 1st at Lille Regionals with an insane team, follows that up at Gdansk with a 9-3, another 9-3 at the Latin America International Championships, 9-3 at Toronto, and finally gets top 8 again at Birmingham Regionals. I think Marco's out to hunt right now, and after his Worlds finish, he wants another big finish at the international stage.
Marco has always been kind of the king of standard as well. He likes using the strongest and most efficient teams at his disposal. We saw that a lot last year, especially at North American Internationals. We were able to play 2nd with a pretty boring standard Shadow Rider team. But this year, he's completely changed the way he's approached team building. He started working with Dill. For those who do not know, Dill was able to place 2nd at EUIC last year and has had really solid, consistent placements following that tournament. But Marco and Dill have just come up with the most insane sauce lately. Starting at the Lille Regionals, Marco and Dill used a Rabombi team that they built together that completely caught the meta off guard and was able to propel him to that finish. But their partnership did not end there. Most recently at Birmingham Regionals, they built an insane Farigiraf Ursa Luna Ogre Pawn Rock team that just completely caught the tournament by storm, allowing Marco to get that 5th place finish. Their relationship has elevated Marco into an even better player. Not only do you have to worry about Marco the player, but you also have to worry about his offbeat and interesting teams that you're seeing for the first time. So I think this evolution might allow Marco to finally get that EUIC crown he's been chasing for so many years. Marco is an incredible player. We include him on every list, and for good reason. He always shows up when it matters, and I think he's turning up the heat, and I expect an insane finish from Marco going into this tournament. Number 1, Luca Ceribelli. Luca Ceribelli is easily one of the most motivated players you will ever see playing this game. I had the honor to witness his passion at the 2024 World Championships, where he looked upset even though he was winning. He takes this game incredibly seriously, and it shows. The year he won Worlds, he got 5th place at EUIC, followed by a 2nd, followed by that obvious World Championship win. This guy is insane at playing the game. The next season, he didn't slow down. You would think after winning Worlds, you would slow down a bit, relax, chill out, but he didn't. He followed it up with 4 consecutive day 2s in a row. He hit a little hiccup at Frankfurt, unable to make it through to day 2, but that did not deter him whatsoever. At LAIC, he bounced back and was able to make it to day 2, falling 1 win short of making it into the top cut bracket. And again, he was not deterred. He followed that up with a 1st place finish at the Stuttgart Regionals, claiming his first ever regional win. Now going into EUIC, the question is, can he complete his first Triple Crown and win a regional, an international, and Worlds? All he's missing is that international win.
Now looking at Luca's team usage historically might lead you to believe that he is kind of a boring standard player, but that's not the whole story. Sure, he likes to use the best Pokemon and give himself the best odds, but if you take a closer look, he's always trying to keep the pressure on. He won the World Championship with his Whimsicott and Specs Miraidon team, and then going into the next format, he kept that same style up, using Whimsicott, Miraidon, and Lunala. Even at EUIC, which he top cut before, he had a standard core but had more offensive tools, like a full-out offense Stomping Tantrum Ogerpon Fire. Even at the most recent regional championships, he kept the same Whimsicott Fergraph core, but this time brought a really powerful Sun mode with it, featuring Scarf Typhlosion. Now I think for this EUIC, it's difficult to predict what he's going to bring, but we know he's going to bring something very precise, something with good Pokemon but has that offensive pressure on. And for that reason, Luca is our #1 pick going into EUIC because he is always motivated, always ready to take down the competition, and I'm ready to see him do it again. Colin and I are both really excited to watch this upcoming EUIC. Colin himself is competing. Hopefully we see a Battle Room victory. But if you enjoy this type of content, please give us a like and subscribe. We will be covering the results of EUIC on the channel, so stay tuned for that, and we'll see you next time.